All right, so we have Devansh Pathak with us, who recently scored a 760, as you can see on the screen, 19th of June. And Devansh prepared overall in about 2.5 months. That was his prep time. So very, very heartening to see that people are really taking this much time preparing. He was part of the self-paced course. So I'll stop this share and Devansh, you can come on screen. Hi, I can see you now very well.
Hey, hi Sandeep. Hi everyone.
Hi. So Devansh, first of all, congratulations that eventually you could make it happen. Although it was delayed initially, that you couldn't study at all, but when you did, I was told you took about 2.5 months of time overall. Right? Is this correct?
Correct, that's true.
Right. So just take us through the entire prep, how you started, what all you went through, what your weak areas were, and general struggles. And I'll actually cover it chronologically. So first the study part, then the practice part, then the mocks, then the real exam, everything. Yeah, please tell.
Well, my weak areas were sentence correction primarily. I had read a lot, but I always got confused whenever I saw a question how to go about attacking it.
Right.
Either it took a lot of time or I ended up marking something wrong. Sentence correction was always weak for me. Critical reasoning took a lot of time, and somehow reading comprehension I was confident because my work also involves policy documents, etc. So
Mm-hmm.
relatively strong. So with time, I kept on. I referred the videos. It took a lot of time first to digest because some concepts were completely new. We had never been taught English grammar the way sir taught us, so pretty good.
Right.
Then I started giving the sectional test, like specifically for sentence correction,
Mhm.
on the portal.
Right.
And after a point, I recognized that my score was not really improving. So then I again got in touch with the doubt sessions that are organized,
Mhm.
strategy calls, where I was suggested that don't just keep a error log, but wherever you are making a mistake, never go back to the next mock without practicing that particular concept for at least a day. So
Mhm.
that's what I did after that. And that was a moment when the score stopped being plateaued and I actually was more confident. In the end, also, I was mostly concerned about time management because in my first attempt, I had really screwed it up. Last five, six questions I had guessed at that time. So I was practicing a lot on the mock test
Mhm.
that are given on the portal. 14, 15 mocks I gave in around 1.5 months.
All right.
So after that, I was pretty confident. The actual exam was like just another mock. Another good thing about the mock was that the difficulty level is a bit on the higher side, which helps you manage the actual stress which happens during GMAT. GMAT will not feel as tough, although it will be tough. It will keep challenging you, but you are used to it because you've done it so many times.
Right, right. And you said critical reasoning also used to take you time. So did that improve eventually with the approach or with more practice? How did you improve that?
Not the practice, but the concepts that you taught us in terms of identifying what are the common areas that are
Mm.
tested. Once you get used to what are the things that are tested, then it becomes easier to spot the patterns. Uh, how the strengthening questions happen, how the weakening questions happen. There are certain patterns to it, certain
Mhm.
tricks and tactics to identify them, which were very useful to the videos that I've.
All right. And RC, as you said, wasn't a challenge. Quant, I'm guessing because of your background, would not have been much of a challenge. Still, take us through. Did you find something or did you do something in data sufficiency? Were you making mistakes? Were you always at a really high score? How was it? Because eventually, probably you slipped up on a couple of questions in quant in your actual test. Seems like it.
Correct,
So
correct.
just take
Quant,
me through.
yeah, sure. Quant, I didn't really spend a lot of time. I was mostly practicing sentence correction and critical reasoning, verbal in general. I could have
Right.
done better on Quant for sure. But when on data sufficiency for sure, there were some challenges. I did not refer the videos in the case of
Mhm.
Quant. I referred the study material, which has all the
Yeah,
formulas.
mocks and study materials essentially.
Yeah, mock study for Quant.
Right, right. And when you look at the overall content, what exactly, let's say in SC, did you do the 700, 800 set? Did you do the marathon, that is the official content? Did you do the sessions or did you just do the mocks or practice portal? Like, what was
I
the...
went through the whole process because I knew there is something fundamentally wrong. So I went through the most basic videos. I went through everything in sentence
Right,
correction. Uh, Learned each and every concept, how to identify linking verbs and all those technical
right.
words. And then graduated to doing problems like 10 problems at a time from the study material that you get.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
went to timed mocks where only sentence correction, 30 questions.
Okay,
That's
so prep was pretty thorough in that case, I can now sense. Please tell us
yes.
the exam experience. Were you kind of anxious at all, or had you practiced so much in a way that this would have been pretty straightforward in cakewalk, but were there some anxious nerves or something? I'm just asking because it
Uh,
always happens with everyone. So just
it's very natural. I was very tense. I had paid 27,000 rupees for an attempt. So that always feels key. What if I screw it up again? So that stress is
okay.
always there. But in my case, what I did was I slept a lot. I slept almost 10 hours before the exam
Hmm.
because there's nothing much that you can do on the last day if you have slept well for
Right.
2.5 months. I did some revision, didn't put myself through a lot of stress or mocks in the last few days. Uh, Good sleep helped, good food, good relaxing music, those things.
Hmm.
But stress is always there. Uh, but this time around it,
And
I was
how did
also a
you?
bit shocked when the result came on. I was not expecting when it came on. I was bit of a disbelief was there, but
What was the expectation then, if you were not expecting this?
I thought maybe 7:30 I'll get. Uh,
Hmm.
I because during the exam also I thought I made some mistakes. Quant also didn't go well, so I was when I got it I was very
So
happy.
just take us through which was your first section, second section. Why do you feel some question that it didn't go well? Were there unusual questions? So like what was it? Is it the mental thing that happened? You were not able to focus at your very best, or was it some unusualness on the exam itself? Just
Um, I don't think there was anything unusual. I started with verbal because
mm,
that was the weakest. I wanted my full attention on verbal first,
mhm.
and just happened. I just kept on attempting one question at a time. Okay, one strategy which was useful was the time markers thing.
Mm.
I was very cautious of at question number 10, I should be at this time marker. At question number 19, I should be at this
Yeah,
time marker.
yeah.
So breaking down the whole section in four parts and ensuring that each I'm attending four different sets basically, not one per.
Right, right.
So that was very useful and nothing unusual. All went well.
And in the quant section also, nothing unusual, or was there anything?
I think I screwed up a bit on data sufficiency questions because at the end I started seeing a bit easier questions.
Mhm.
But there's nothing much that I could do
I mean,
about it.
you are obviously going to be pretty good at math, but maybe you didn't practice as much of the quant because you focused only on verbal. And towards the
Yeah,
end, maybe 5, 10 days, some trap based questions if you could have practiced. But still, I
yeah.
mean, a 99th percentile. So one battle is completely won and over. So what are you planning now? Are you planning to apply to some schools this year or next year? What's the plan?
I'll apply this year in round one. I'm speaking to some admission consultants now,
Right.
targeting Harvard, perhaps Stanford, uh,
Hmm.
Wharton, and the other top schools.
Right.
Five schools.
And Harvard probably is more in line with what the work you're doing as well with World Economic Forum.
Yes, that's what I'm
Right.
doing.
Right.
But yeah, thanks a lot for having me, and all the
Right.
best.
Right. Thanks, Devansh, for coming. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.